What up, everybody? This is your boy Dedrian from House of Rasslin. This is my review for the May 18th episode of AEW Dynamite. Like, share, comment, subscribe. Follow House of Rasslin on all social media platforms. Give this video a thumbs up on YouTube. Wow. Tonight's Dynamite was very, very exciting for the first hour and want to say 10-15 minutes. Then afterwards, it just got really clustered. And how do I put it? Very felt rushed. Certain segments went a little bit longer than it should have. And lately, Dynamite has felt like the tale of two different shows. The first hour being, oh man, really exciting. And then once we get to the 8 o'clock hour, it's like a totally different show. And this show, there was some good stuff, but man, that last 45 minutes of this show was, could have been done a lot better. The night started off with Samoa Joe. He comes out, and of course, everyone has been speculating who is the Joker in the Owen Hart men's tournament. Many speculation, Cesaro. I thought it was going to be Karrion Kross. Trying to think of who else. Who were the other names? Oh my God, there were so many other names. I can't even think of the names right now. Forgive me, guys. I know on the women's side there was. I predicted Mickie James, Athena. Several names that were mentioned. So Samoa Joe's out and everything. The Titantron hits, and we get Johnny Elite, formerly known as John Morrison. Yes, John Morrison was the Joker for the Samoa Joe, for Samoa Joe's opponent in the Owen Hart men's tournament. This match was really cool, really good. Man, Samoa Joe laid in some offense on this. John Morrison, of course, his athleticism was really displayed in this match. There was an instance where he attempted a 450, and it looked like it came a little bit, like Samoa Joe was a little bit too far. Just really, like, it was really quick. It was like, ooh, that, oh well, whatever. But no, this was a really good match to start off the show. The crowd was into it. This crowd in Texas was hot, man. Like, if there's anything higher than white hot, this crowd was it, man. They were really into it. They really felt this. John Morrison, or Johnny Elite, he had a big ovation. Man, this crowd, like I said, this crowd made this show. Of course, John Morrison during the match attempted and actually executed a Samoan drop. It wasn't the prettiest, but he got Samoa Joe up, which was really impressive. Then, of course, Samoa Joe got the muscle buster. 1, 2, 3. Samoa Joe advances. Then we get Jay Lethal, Sanjay Dutt, and Sanam Singh come in. They start attacking Samoa Joe. He's just getting beat. And then we get Roppongi Vice coming out and helping and everything. So that was a really cool segment. I really do like that they aren't over using Sanam Singh, that he's just more like a bodyguard, which is, they're not rushing him. That's good. But man, this was a really cool match. I liked it. I liked the pacing. I liked the timing. The post-match stuff wasn't overkill or anything. They came in, did their things, and then boom. Roppongi Vice came in and everything. So that was really cool. Then we had a backstage segment with Lexi Nair, with Jeff Hardy and Matt Hardy. Basically, Jeff Hardy was clear to wrestle tonight, especially after the match he had with Jeff Hardy. Kudos to commentary in AEW, specifically Jim Ross. They kept on emphasizing, like, hey, Jeff Hardy's not 100%. Like, How is he wrestling in this match is insane because the match that he had with Darby Allin the week before, the bumps that he took, the infamous shot of Darby Allin diving onto Jeff Hardy on the chairs was crazy. So they keep selling this, which those are the little details that you like in a wrestling show when you have a wrestler, whether they're male or female or what have you, whether the men's division or the women's division. It's those little details where it adds to the match where the viewer's just like, man, are they really going to win this match? Why? Good stuff. Then they get interrupted by the Young Bucks. Matt Hardy basically calls the Young Bucks a cosplay Hardys. The Hardys are like, or the Young Bucks are like, hey, take the night off. I like this part because it plays off of their interaction that they've been having on being the Elite on Mondays, and they're bringing it to TV, which is really cool. Of course, they had their infamous battles in Ring of Honor. I hope this leads to Broken Matt and Brother Nero, because for me, I like their look. Their look back then when they were Broken Matt and Brother Nero was, man, so damn good. And if AEW somehow brings that, man, that'll be so cool. Then we get CM Punk coming out on commentary, and he comes out with a t-shirt, abortion rights are human rights in Texas, and I don't think it's, surprise to anyone what's going on in the world as far as women's rights in this country and stuff like that. Hey, kudos to him. This is the second time that he's worn a shirt advocating for women's rights in Texas. He's a bad man. And by bad man, I mean he's a bold man to do that. But I salute him for doing that and standing for what he believes. And hey, man, that it takes a lot of guts and boldness to do that. And I know he's getting on social media a lot of backlash and a lot of support. But hey, it's a cause. That's all I'm going to say. It's a cause, and he believes in it, and many believe in it. And to do it on national TV, it's making a statement. But so he's on commentary, and he's pretty much talking about his match at Double or Nothing with Hangman Page. So Hangman Page is fighting against Kensuke Toshida, and this match was really good. Man, Toshida, watching him wrestle, man, I don't want to go as far as saying, oh my God, this is the next Okada, but man, there's a lot of similarities between him and Okada. Man, the spots in this match, there was a spot where Hangman Page did a tombstone pile driver, and I cringed because it looked like Toshida's head wasn't high enough, and it looked like he could have got a stinger. It was just like, ooh, please tell me this man did not get a stinger. Like, this dude is so good. But man, a lot of Toshida did a tope moonsault. There was a spot where they had the double clotheslines, and this was a really good match. Then we had the spot where Toshida did a forearm. He was hitting Hangman Page with a bunch of forearms, and then executed a power bomb, which was dope. Then there was a point where Toshida kept on favoring his neck and everything after the tombstone pile driver. But there were spots where he performed some excellent suplexes, and this is, out of all the matches, this match, I recommend you guys watch it. Watching Hangman Page wrestle this match, you got the feel of Hangman Page's work when he was in New Japan. Like, this had that New Japan type feel to it, which is so cool. I've always loved New Japan, but lately watching more New Japan, whew, so damn good. Then there was a point in the match where there was a forearm strike while doing while Hangman Page did a lariat, his infamous lariat, and Toshida like hit him spot on. That was dope. But then eventually, Hangman Page performs the buckshot lariat, then puts Toshida in a GTS, which is CM Punk's finishing move. Hits him 1, 2, 3. Hangman Page wins. Then after the match, you get a face off between Hangman Page and CM Punk, and they're basically seeing who could get the louder crowd pop and everything. Cool match. I loved it. Please check this out. This was a really good match from Toshida and Hangman Page. The more I see Toshida in matches in AEW, I haven't had a chance to see more of his matches in Japan, but the more I see him in AEW, man, this guy is going to be a big star in Japan. And eventually he is going to be a big crossover star in Japan and in the States. His matches are so good, and man, this guy is young. This is a gym. Keep an eye on this guy. He will be a major player in professional wrestling, and I'm gonna give a take 5 years. He's gonna be a major player. He has it in this match. This was a really good match, and I'm glad that they're putting him in Top Guys to bring out, his skill set. So once he brings it out, all he's gonna do is just even grow from that, and his matches are gonna be even more just engaging and entertaining. Then we get a video of Fuego del Sol. He's calling out the House of Black, so he's challenging the House of Black to a trios match. It's gonna be him, Preston Vance, and Evil Uno versus the House of Blacks on Rampage. That's going to be interesting. I like Evil Uno, I like Preston Vance, and I like Fuego del Sol. But I like the House of Black even more. So I look forward to Buddy Murphy, Malachi Black, and Brody King. That's going to be a really solid match, especially the powerhouses between Preston Vance, and Brody King. I'm looking forward to that interaction with those guys. Then we get the match between Keith Lee and Swerve Strickland versus JD Drake and Anthony Henry. Like always, big Swerve House chants throughout the whole arena. There is a point where Keith Lee and Swerve Strickland performed a power bomb. So the way this move was executed, Keith Lee had, I believe it was Anthony Henry in the powerbomb position. Swerve Strickland was on the top turnbuckle, and Keith Lee's right in front of him. And as Keith Lee's performing the powerbomb, Swerve Strickland's on top of the guy's shoulders, like just stomping him down at the same time. So it was a really cool execute. Please check that out. That was dope. Then, of course, Swerve Strickland and Keith Lee win. Afterwards, they get interrupted by Starks and Hobbs. It's announced that Swerve and Keith Lee are in the top 5 ranking for the AEW World Tag Team Championships. Starks and Hobbs. I get tongue tied trying to pronounce that name. I always think of Hobbs and Shaw. I don't know why. Maybe because Ricky Starks reminds me of The Rock. But funny moment here. Starks calls Keith Lee the T-Rex from Toy Story, which was hilarious. Then you get Swerve Strickland. He basically calls Ricky Starks a bar and soap, which is freaking hilarious. Jurassic Express comes out, and what was interesting about this was Christian was doing all the talking, but watching Jungle Boy's expression, like, "Hey, why are you speaking for us?" That was very interesting. I know a lot of people are saying, "Man, when is Christian going to turn on Jurassic Express?" I think the opposite's going to happen. I really do think Jungle Boy is going to turn heel, and he's going to turn on Christian and Luchasaurus and go on his own. So yeah, Christian, he's talking to all 3 members. He makes a reference to Ricky Starks, like, "Hey, you look like a golfer that's gonna go golfing with my grandfather. Basically, two things are announced while Christian is talking. One, Christian basically sets up a triple threat AEW tag team match between Ricky Starks and Powerhouse Hobbs, Keith Lee for Strickland, and Jungle Boy and Luchasaurus at Double or Nothing. So when that match is official, that's going to be dope. It's obvious either Ricky Starks and Hobbs are winning the titles, or Keith Lee and Swerve Strickland is winning the titles. I do not see Jurassic Express walking away with the titles. And the other thing that Christian touched on was next week on Dynamite, Jungle Boy versus Ricky Starks versus Swerve Strickland. That is going to be a dope match. I look forward to that. Man, that's going to be so fun. Then we get a backstage segment with Chris Statlander and Red Velvet. Red Velvet's basically saying, I'm going to defeat you. You know, it's the baddie way. Chris Statlander's like, this isn't personal, this is business. Jade Cargill comes in and she says her thing, looks at Chris Statlander, and she's like, you know what, Tony, cut this shit. I wish, like I've been saying in my reviews, I wish AEW would incorporate more women into the factions that they have. I'll get into it later as far as the Britt Baker match and the other segment. All I gotta say, I'll leave it at this, and then I'll get into it later. But how can people know the women that you have on your roster if you don't put them on television? And it's not necessarily in a match, but if you don't have them on television, out in the crowd, out in a faction, in a match, involved, distracting, preventing someone from winning or distracting or what have you, how can people know that you have women on your roster? That's one of my issues with this. It was a decent segment, but there's a lot of stuff that could have been done with this, and with the momentum and the traction and the engagement that Jade Cargill, Kiera Hogan, and Red Velvet are getting on social media. I really feel AEW is underutilizing them and not maximizing the momentum they have on social media on screen. They're really just, honestly, they're dropping the ball on it, on a lot of things in the women's division, and this is one of them. Then we get to the segment of the 10 Lashes with MJF and Wardlow. The whole crowd is chanting a-hole to MJF. There's shut the fuck up chants. As soon as Wardlow comes out, there is a huge Wardlow chant breaking out in the arena. What I liked about this was that Wardlow displayed his powerhouse demeanor. MJF and Sean Spears are literally whipping him with an actual belt, and he's not flinching and not reacting. He's actually, it reminded me of Road Warrior Hawk when he used to get chopped and used to brush it off. Like, Wardlow's just like, yeah, all right, whatever. Okay, yeah, and he's like smirking, and eventually MJF gives him a low blow. They start beating him up and attacking him. Then eventually MJF takes the Dynamite ring, hits Wardlow, and that's the end of that segment. I like that segment because the segments between MJF and Wardlow have been the most consistent and the most progressive storylines on AEW television. It's just been so much fun. It's engaging. A lot of people, including myself, really look forward to this match at Double or Nothing. And honestly, this match should be the double main event. Like, it should be the match before the CM Punk match, because this has been that match that everyone has been talking about. And this feud has been something that people have been interested in, like, a lot of people have been interested in it, and you know, most of us are anticipating Wardlow's going to win. It's not guaranteed, but it's highly anticipated, and just that anticipation alone is worth the price and everything. And also Sean Spears, after Wardlow got hit with the diamond ring, he did the pretty much a Death Valley driver, and they walked away, and Wardlow was just laid out, which was, I believe, this is one of the first times that they actually like just laid out Wardlow, which is it's getting interesting. Then we get a backstage segment with Rocky Romero and Trent Beretta. They're announcing Roppongi Vice is back. They start saying, "Hey, we need the ROH titles. We need to get those IWGP tag titles and AEW titles." And they issue a challenge to FTR for the Ring of Honor tag team championships. So eventually that match is going to happen, whether it's a Dynamite, Rampage, or possibly Double or Nothing. Would be interesting. Then we get the match between Kyle O'Reilly and Rey Fenix. The winner advances in the Owen Hart's Men's Tournament. This was another good match. I would say this match, this is up there with the Hangman Page, Konsuke Takashita match. Forgive me if I mispronounced that. Yeah, these two matches were so solid, man. This match had a lot of super kicks, forearms, bouncing off the ropes and countering, reversing. I enjoyed this match because Rey Fenix, he's one of my favorite wrestlers in AEW, and Kyle O'Reilly, ever since he's gone to AEW, like the matches he's had, maybe it's the opponents he's had, like really solid work. A joy. He is that like sneaky, sarcastic, annoying antagonist where you're just like, I want this guy to lose, and he somehow wins, and he has that smirk. It's like, ooh, I want this guy to beat this guy. But man, this is a really dope match. There was a spot where Rey Fenix did a Hurricanrana on the apron while he walked the ropes on Kyle O'Reilly, which I thought was dope. There was like I said, a bunch of back and forth. There was a lot of Enzuigiri's, Enziguri kicks and stuff like that. I don't know why I said that. But there was a point later in the match where Kyle O'Reilly was really focusing on the arm that Rey Fenix injured. Not too much where it's like, oh my God, he's really hurting him. But he did work on it, and eventually Kyle O'Reilly got his submission hold in an armbar. Phoenix tapped out, so Kyle O'Reilly advances into the Owen Hart tournament. Again, check this match out and the Hangman Page Tashida match. Really dope matches. Then we get the face-to-face between William Regal, the Blackpool Combat Club, Santana Ortiz, Kingston, and the Jericho Appreciation Society. What I liked about this segment was when Moxley came through the crowd. He came through the crowd with Eddie Kingston, Santana, and Ortiz, which I thought was really dope. One thing that concerned me about this segment was, I believe this was around 8:20. Yeah, this is around 8:20. From this moment on, this is where the last 45 minutes of the show was, and this is where I had a real big issue with this. First thing that I had an issue with is I don't understand why AEW is announcing these face-offs. Like, you're not wrestling. Like, why are you announcing, hey, this is a face-off? Like, it doesn't make sense. Like, you're taking away the spontaneity of, like, oh my God, what the hell? What happened? These guys are confronting, like, what? We're anticipating it. And one thing I have noticed about these segments and these face-offs, and it's not just this face-off, it's other face-offs, that they take up so much time that lately, and by lately, the past several months, these talk segments or these face-offs have taken away time from matches that are happening towards the end of Dynamite, where those matches feel rushed. They don't feel organic. They don't feel like they're getting enough time. It's almost like a beginning, quick middle, and then the end. Like there's no story that they're telling. It's just they're doing moves and then there's a finish. Like it doesn't come across really entertaining and engaging, and it's really becoming more predictable, which I don't like and I'm not enjoying. Um, I enjoyed this segment. I loved it. I enjoyed the part where Regal was saying that he took Jericho's toothbrush and stuck it up his butt, and did the same thing with Daniel Garcia's thing or toothbrush. That was funny. Uh, Jericho's like, "Hey, we're gonna do the Stadium Stampede," and Moxie's like, "I ain't doing that shit again. We're gonna have a Falls Count Anywhere match." And then Eddie Kingston grabs the mic and he's like, "You know what? We're gonna fight now." And Bryan Danielson stops him, and Kingston's like, "Yo, what you stop me for?" So Kingston and Bryan Danielson get into this uh, shoving match, and they're breaking them up and everything. And um, that was basically the end of that segment. And then we get a backstage segment, which this segment between Matt Sydal and Dante Martin, like this could have been a video on social media during the week. Like this does not have to be on the show, and that's another issue that I'm seeing with AEW. Like a lot of these backstage segments and even some of these so-called in-ring promos could be video packages on social media. Um, utilize your social media. Like that's something that I see with AEW, that you don't have to cram everything on your show. You have social media. And if you're watching this, if you work for AEW or what have you, and you watch this review, I can tell you something. There's no closing hours on social media. Like you can post it whenever you feel like it, and people are going to watch it. You have the audience. In this segment, I mean, they basically called out the Blackpool Combat Club and on Rampage, but it like, you could have had this right after Dynamite. You could have had this at the time of this, as I'm recording this. Like you could have had this at 1 a.m. or 9 o'clock in the morning Thursday. Like why did you have, like, this didn't make any sense. Like this literally took up a time on the show which was unnecessary. And it was uncharacteristic to see Dante Martin be somewhat very sarcastic, like, yeah, they don't want us. Like, it didn't make any sense. Like, not at all. It made no sense. Then we get the Britt Baker match. We already got one Joker, which was Johnny Elite, so we were anticipating the other Joker in the women's Owen Hart's tournament. And I did not expect this. Like I said, I predicted Mickie James, Athena. Some people were predicting Deonna Purrazzo. No, it wasn't. It was Maki Ito. Yes, Maki Ito, who was in AEW last year. She was the Joker in this match. Cool thing about this match was they had a callback to Revolution last year when Britt Baker and Maki Ito were a tag team. I did like the fact where when Britt Baker hit her, she was crying, and then she gave her the middle finger. There was a lot of Maki Ito or Maki DMD chants throughout the crowd, which I love that. I like that there was a spot where Maki Ito's pretty much famous move is that she bounces off the rope and sideways she does the headbutt, and Britt Baker rolled and she stops and then she spins around and then hits it. Like, I really liked it. That was so entertaining. Eventually, Britt Baker got the lockjaw. 1, 2, 3. Britt Baker wins. This match should have been right after the Kyle O'Reilly Ray Phoenix match. It should have been more time. Like, one of the things that frustrates me about AEW is how, and it's frustrating a lot of people, is how they're booking the women's division. For me, what frustrates me is that all they have to do is put the women in all these factions, and the stories tell themselves. Like, it's not that hard. I don't understand why the women's division in AEW, why booking it has become so complicated. It's not complicated. It's freaking simple. Like, it's simple storytelling. If you put, I'll use an example. If you add a woman in with the Jericho Association Appreciation Society, and you had a woman wrestler in the Blackpool Combat Club, now you have a match that logically you can set up with the Blackpool Combat Club. You can add a mixed tag match. If you had, what was the other match? Well, you couldn't put it with Samoa Joe or John Morrison. But you guys see what I'm saying? Like, you could have had, like, come on, man, this isn't hard. Like, and I don't understand, like, they have all these factions and these teams. Like, put the women with them so you have, either you can have, the other reason why they should do this is, look, when you have your women's wrestlers, most of the women wrestlers that you have on your roster, when you have them with whether the factions or teams, you accomplish two things. You can set up logical matches that have a backstory. Then you could set up either mixed tag matches or mixed trios matches, which, guess what? You just took a feud from, you just took a woman's wrestler being involved in one type of match to three types of matches. Like, it's not that hard to book these women. Like, I know I'm not the only one that's come up with other scenarios on how to book the women in AEW, but come on, man. Like, this is ridiculous. And look, this is another Dynamite where I'm going to do the statistics, but I did look it over, and there has only been only one opening match on Dynamite that has involved two women wrestling in the match, and that was Jade Cargill and Shaquille O'Neal versus Red Velvet and Cody Rhodes. There has never been a women's match to open Dynamite in the 3-year history, and most of the matches that the women on AEW are booked in, they're either the 4th or 5th match on the card. They're hardly and they're rarely booked as the 1st and 2nd match on Dynamite. Like I've been saying, how can people know your women's roster if you don't barely put them on TV? You have to find a way to put them on TV. The best way to put them on there, if they're not going to be in a match, put them in a faction, which when you put them in a faction, logically, that leads to a match. It's not that hard. So that was my rant. After the match, you got Toni Storm coming out, and she stares down Britt Baker. You could have had Toni Storm looking at the monitor in the back. Like, the camera shots and everything just didn't make any sense. Then you had, this made no sense. So after this Britt Baker Maki Itoh match, this had to be around 8. It was like 8:37 Central Time. So it's like, okay, they're going to go to commercial break. So like 8:41, 42, they're going to come back, and then you're going to have Jeff Hardy and Adam Cole. Nope. You get an in-ring promo with Tony Schiavone. He's confronted by Serena Deeb, and she's basically talking about how he said that, or Tony Schiavone said that she wasn't going to win. She calls out Dustin Rhodes. This segment, like this whole thing, this could have been a video on social media. You could have shot Dustin Rhodes and Tony Schiavone having a conversation backstage, and then Serena Deeb confronting them and saying everything she said in the ring in the backstage segment to Tony Schiavone and Dustin Rhodes, and then walked away. That easily could have been a 2 to 3 minute video you could have shot and then posted on social media, which led more to their storyline. But no, you have it in the ring, and this was an awkward execution. And I'm sorry, AEW is dropping the ball on Thunder Rosa's world title reign, and Britt Baker, they are mishandling the women's division. Honestly, it's to the point where most people don't even care about the division because it looks like AEW doesn't care about the women's division. This segment was totally unnecessary. It took time away from the Adam Cole Jeff Hardy match to the point where I'm sure they had to cut the match down significantly, or maybe, and I'll look at it this way, maybe Jeff Hardy was still dealing with sore, and they're like, hey, let's not put him in the ring long enough, do that. But still, you could have, there's other ways this should have been done. Like that segment between Tony Schiavone, Dustin Rhodes, Serena Deeb, and Thunder Rosa it should have been in the video. And then the way it came across, how everything was executed, where Serena Deeb, there's an accidental push from Dustin Rhodes, or Thunder Rosa and Dustin Rhodes, and she's like, oh man, I'm sorry. And Serena Deeb gets the belt, and then like that was badly executed. And I don't fault them. It's just, it's not that hard to book this women's division, man. Like, come on. This is ridiculous. So after this, you have Adam Cole and Jeff Hardy. Jeff Hardy comes out, and Adam Cole attacks him right in his entrance. So that, like, honestly, I know it's like around 8:48, 9:50. So they realistically had like 10 minutes. Of course, commentary, hey, we'll stay with this match as long as it goes. And it's like, yeah, every time you guys say that, you guys finish before 9 o'clock. Come on. So yeah, Adam Cole attacks him. He drops him. Commentary keeps emphasizing that Jeff Hardy, the match that he had before took a toll on his body. There was a miss swanton by Jeff Hardy. Adam Cole lowers down the knee pad, hits the boom, 1, 2, 3. Adam Cole wins. You get the Young Bucks. They come in attempting to attack Matt Hardy. They don't, but Adam Cole attacks him. So you got the Young Bucks and Adam Cole attacking Matt Hardy and Jeff Hardy. Sting and Darby come out. They start fending everybody off. Bobby Fish and Kyle O'Reilly come out. They attack Darby. They hit Sting. Cool spot. Sting got hit with the chair, no-sold it, and then the other guys came in. They put the chair around Sting's leg. They stomp on it. Sting selling it, and that's how the show ended. The first hour and let's say 10 minutes, everything up until Kyle O'Reilly and Rey Fenix, everything after that, it felt rushed. It did not feel like they were letting things breathe and letting the crowd, take it in. It was just felt rushed. This whole thing felt rushed. It did not. Nobody, in my opinion, nobody looked good from the face-to-face meeting with Regal and Jericho all the way till the main event. Nobody looked good. It was rushed. It wasn't entertaining. Like I said, the segment between Tony Schiavone, Serena Deeb, Dustin Rhodes, and Thunder Rosa, that should have been a video. Like basically everything that you did in the ring, you could have done on a video and posted on social media to build up to either Rampage or next week. And I'm sorry, this was the first part of Dynamite was dope, but this last 45 minutes sucked. Like this was poorly executed. One thing that I did notice about tonight's show was there was a lot of camera shots that were just not smooth. The transitions were not smooth. They're just waiting too long and cutting back. I wouldn't say it's, oh my God, it's the end of the world, but like they need to clean this up because this is not entertaining. as wrestling fans, and most of us who watch not only AEW but WWE and all this other, like we see a lot of stuff that we criticize AEW or not AEW, WWE for. We don't want to see it in AEW, and maybe I'm speaking for myself, but I know most wrestling fans are like, look, we don't want to see the stuff that we see in WWE and AEW, and if we see it in AEW, we're not gonna come back. Like you guys just are in your own world, and well, you guys think that you're the smartest people in the world, which the way this was executed did not come across like that. But that's my review for AEW Dynamite for May 18th. I love the Rey Fenix Kyle O'Reilly match. I enjoyed the Tashida and Hangman Page match, but that last 45 minutes did not do it for me, man. It did not do it for me. It felt rushed. Like I said, it felt rushed. It felt like it wasn't giving an organic way of letting it breathe so the crowd can take it in and just absorb it. A lot of things could have been on a video, on their social media. This was consolidated. This show could have been better, and hopefully it gets better. But this stuff it's getting annoying because it's like, one thing that I notice is like, okay, you have Dynamite and you have Rampage and you shoot like some of these segments could have been on Dark Elevation. Like, quit using. Like, I don't get this logic of using. Grant, I know Dark Elevation is a warm up, but guess what? A lot of these segments that you can't fit on Dynamite, guess what? Use it on Elevation where it builds. Like, it's not like, come on, man, this isn't rocket science. Oh man. So this is my review for AEW Dynamite May 18th. Like, share, comment, subscribe, follow House of Wrestling on all social media platforms. Follow me, Dedrian180, on TikTok, Twitter, Instagram. Give this video a thumbs up on YouTube. Like I always say, stop fighting over wrestling. And man, just stop fighting over wrestling. And be careful, and don't be so quick to respond to people on social media, especially when it comes to wrestling. Just take a step back, breathe, and just let it go, because you don't know what person's going through or what have you, and just leave it at that, man. So with that, I'm out.